Hi, my name's Mary Beth, and I have 3 boys, a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Before I enrolled in Trigger to Transformed, our main issue was with remote learning. My oldest son was doing great, but my 7-year-old was really struggling with completely melting down during his remote learning sessions and sitting in front of the computer for so long and feeling really anxious about trying to do assignments when he's by himself in a room as opposed to being right there with his teacher. So I think that was our biggest issue. Prior to Trigger to Transformed, I have done a lot of things, which is kind of embarrassing, but I have read pretty much every parenting book ever written. The other big thing that had gone on in our life is we had a really big transition from previous parenting models that were much more punitive based, and had a transition in our own thinking about how we wanted to raise our kids. And though we knew we wanted to do things differently, we didn't have the tools or the reassurance to actually be capable of making that transition. So prior to Trigger to Transformed, I had already taken several parenting classes to really learn more about the theory behind positive parenting, but I didn't, even though I knew what to do, I couldn't actually do it consistently. I'm different after going through Trigger to Transformed because I feel more grounded in myself. I feel like I've made a really major transition in my own healing and have been able to translate that into how I interact with my kids. My relationship with my kids is different because I really feel more reassured that they do have a secure attachment, that they're going to be okay, that the conflicts that arise, we're able to make repairs to restore the relationship back to a positive place, and the foundation of them feeling loved and accepted and supported is going to be there forever. My thoughts about parenting are different after taking Trigger to Transform. I feel like it really gives me a framework when, for instance, when my child is melting down and I see that as water, I can remember, okay, I need to be a grounding force here. I need to be able to put some boundaries around this and kind of build a support to contain the emotion that he's experiencing right now. So the aspects of Trigger to Transform that I found most helpful were going over my own needs towards the beginning of the class and being able to acknowledge those needs and how I was feeling triggered when those needs weren't met. Also the parts work and being able to recognize different parts of myself and honoring those parts and their needs and how to meet those needs in order to be more available and supportive for my kids, especially in moments where kind of everything's hitting the fan and you can't really think straight to know what to do. Also the community, being able to see Dr. Willis every week and to ask questions and to have her go through the homework that was assigned so that we can get actual answers to real problems in real time. I think that was really helpful. I loved the meditations. I loved that was probably my favorite part was, I love the meditations. I loved the idea of getting in touch with the different parts of ourselves and honoring those different parts, to be able to really connect with those parts and to see what those parts need, to acknowledge that as parents, we have needs and that those needs are valid, and to realize that when those needs are not met, we're not going to be capable of interacting with our children in a positive way. I feel like I was able to have permission to look at my needs, as a human being for the first time in a really long time. Oh my goodness. So this is fantastic. Lynetta is amazingly educated and informed and experienced in understanding the problems that just come up, and both in the day-to-day normal stuff, but then also the unusual stuff. Being able to take this during the pandemic when everything was exaggerated and exacerbated beyond just normal daily frustrations was really great. Dr. Willis has this fantastic program that puts the different types of tantrums and the types of meltdowns into different categories that kind of sit at a really fundamental level, so that when we are in the moment and everything's crazy and we can't remember like the 17 different things that we're supposed to do to be this model peaceful parent, we can just hit on, okay, is this an air sort of situation? Is this a fire situation? Is this water? And what is the antidote to this trigger, and how can I respond in a way that's going to move us towards a resolution that we both value? Dr. Willis is amazing. She's fantastic. She's so personable. She's hilarious. She's really fun to talk to and listen to. And she also is extremely knowledgeable and educated and intelligent about how to both understand the theories behind parenting from a variety of different perspectives, coming from a behaviorist background and being able to speak to those strategies and those concerns, in addition to knowing the ins and outs of peaceful, positive parenting and being able to practically outline ways to use those with our kids. She's also really kind and compassionate and caring and supportive, and we've had some really vulnerable moments, and I felt completely just enveloped with her care during that time.